my whole face. Full of adventure, I stayed outside for the whole day. Full of optimism, used to move at my own pace. Now these days, I tend to get stuck in my own way. I'm self-driven, but I still deal with some road rage. Too valuable to crash out, that's what my soul say. My uncle was a drunk, he used to go through a whole case. My cousin heart cold, so he called him a cold case. In my case, I'm unpacking baggage that was unchecked, try carrying on the heavy ones. But the duffel bag full of skeletons, I tried burying some, but they rose from the dead. Yeah, this morning I rose from my bed with a thorn in my side. I started wrestling with God. He said you need to submit and let your pride dissolve. When you let go of your past, it's when you start to evolve. When we evolve, we rise from it all. Go to higher levels, watch our problems get small. When we evolve, we break through the walls of our lower self and watch our spirit stand tall. When we evolve, we know when to call on the Most High and let Him fight all our wars. When we evolve, when we evolve, when will we evolve? But if I'm honest, some days I don't feel like my best. I hit the gym and lift weights to get shit off my chest. Life full of multiple choices, sometimes it feel like a test. My circle got shady like Scantron, but I'm still blessed. Yeah, it's beauty in chaos. Sometimes you gotta go within just to see the way out. I had to fortify my boundaries, told that gal to stay out. It took me 10,000 hours just to get a payout. Now I see things from a higher place. I grew from my prior place, and now I'm on a mission to uplift my entire race. Purpose burning inside of my chest like a fireplace. I used to smoke loud, now I roll up to a quiet place and sit in my solitude. Yeah, I'm in a solid mood. I'm about to start a fast, 7 days, no solid food, just juices and water, thinking clearer and smarter. When you start to evolve, that's when your mind can go farther. When we evolve, we rise from it all. Go to higher levels, watch our problems get small. When we evolve, we break through the walls of our lower self and watch our spirit stand tall. When we evolve, we know when to call on the Most High and let Him fight all our wars. When we evolve, when we evolve, when will we evolve? You're evolving when you're no longer revolving around the same things that no longer serve you. You're not holding space for the people, placing things that no longer deserve you. You stop fitting in and start fitting the new spaces that you're in because you're in a different place. So don't be surprised when you're no longer getting invited, no longer getting excited, and the calls and texts from yesterday start slowing down. You're growing now. When we evolve, we rise from it all. Go to higher levels, watch our problems get small. When we evolve, we break through the walls of our lower self and watch our spirit stand tall. When we evolve, we know when to call on the Most High and let Him fight all our wars. When we evolve, when we evolve, when will we evolve?
Salute Welcome to Blended Healing. Happy Hoodoo Heritage Month. Today is day number 5. Today's a day that we ask an animal to bless us and guide us to medicine. Ashe. Ashe. Let's get into it. Some of you may wonder why Hoodoo Heritage Month is considered to be the month of October. October was chosen because it already carries weight that can't be faked. It's a month tied to spirit work, ancestors, and seasonal shifts. When the heat of the summer drops back and the nights come quicker, the air itself feels different, charged, watchful, listening. Across many cultures, October has been marked as a time when the veil thins, when the line between the living and the dead bends and wavers. The unseen presses against the skin of this world. Our people didn't need scientists, priests, or historians to tell them this. They felt it in their bones. They felt it in the way dreams became sharper, how the animals moved differently, and their skin prickling as if someone walked beside them, even when the room was empty. From the Gullah and Geechee people and for the enslaved Africans across plantations, October was not just another month, it was a season when presence intensified. The ancestors walked closer. The air was thick with stories that couldn't be erased. And this was the time to strengthen your house, to sweep, to wash, to hang protection, to pour water at the doorway, and to mark your space. This was the time to tighten up your prayers, not just for yourself, but for your children, your kinfolk, your neighbors, who leaned on the same roots and whispered the same psalms. October demanded you to be aware. It reminded you that the world you see is not the only world at work. That is why Hoodoo Heritage Month sits in October, because Hoodoo has always known how to read the seasons. Ancestor reverence is not optional in Hoodoo. It is central. And October is the backdrop where ancestor presence is undeniable. The people who carried Hoodoo in secret already understood that fall was a threshold, a doorway. When the leaves fell and crops thinned, when days were shortened and nights stretched long, it wasn't just weather, it was a signal. A reminder that life and death walk side by side, and that the dead do not vanish. They advise, they guide, they guard, but most importantly, they hold you accountable. October then is more than commemoration. It's a living reminder that each gust of wind, each shadow at dusk, and each whisper in the night calls back to truth that Hoodoo is not gone, not forgotten, and not to be disrespected. This month pulls us into the alignment with what our ancestors always knew. That there are times when you must stand firmer, pray louder, and remember deeper. October is that time. Hoodoo Heritage Month uses it as a stage for reverence and continuation, to declare that the practice still breathes and the roots still hold and the people still know. Ashe. Ashe. That's why it's in October. I'll be right back after this.
New York skyline lights, rain on the glass, healing in the present, lessons from the past, blended healing flowing through everything. The night holds the secrets, the streets keep the time. Every broken story turns into a sign. Every scar mending, every soul aligned. In the distance, Long Island keeps beating, love redefined. The night holds the secrets, the streets keep the time. Every broken story turns into a sign. Blended rims rising, carrying me and you. In the midnight silence, the spirit takes flight, healing in the rhythm of the New York night.
Our ancestors lived under watch. But even under the constant eyes, they found ways to keep their spirit intact. They hid Bible verses in their mouths, reciting them in low tones that carried more weight than any sermon in a church built for the master. They tucked roots in their pockets, not just as plants, but as medicine, as shields, companions in a hostile land. Every gesture was coded. Every act was layered with meaning. A spoonful of herbs stirred into a broth could restore a weary body. A blessing whispered over a child that night became armor against unseen danger. The broom leaning against the door was more than just housekeeping. It was a barrier that said nothing harmful crosses this threshold. The lamp lit in the window was more than a light. It was the way to call the spirit world close, to draw power into the home and to let those on the other side know they were welcome and needed. Every gesture became protection. Every chant became a record of survival. The Gullah and the Geechee people carried this in every step to the fields, every wash bucket filled, every candle lit on the windowsill. Hoodoo was not strange to them. It wasn't no acting. It was just ordinary life made extraordinary through intention. They were keeping their families alive. The Bible was the only book allowed in enslaved hands. But instead of being a tool of control, the people flipped it. They turned it into a weapon for liberation. The Psalms in particular became the heart of this work. Psalms 35 became a shield for justice, called on to confound the enemies rise and demand protection. Psalms 91 was recited for safety, to put a hedge against sickness and harms. Psalms 23 became a prayer of steadying, a reminder of provision even in the darkest times. These were not just read passively, they were spoken with command. They were written on scraps of paper and carried in pockets and folded into shoes, tucked under pillows. The Bible in Hoodoo was just never read for inspiration. It was sung, whispered, cried out loud, infused into the powders, stitched into the very fabric of life. It became a spell book and a testimony at the same time. It gave people who were stripped of everything else a language that the oppressor could not steal because it was hidden in plain sight. Yeah, hidden in plain sight. And here's something else. You know, the land was always teacher. It was the pharmacy and always an ally. Our ancestors didn't separate the spiritual from the natural, and they knew they were one. They walked the land knowing which herbs could heal the body and which ones could drive away danger. They knew how to use rosemary to wash away heaviness, rue to shield against attack, high John root to give courage and victory in court or conflict. A jar of dirt wasn't just dirt. It carried memory, weight, presence. Iron nails weren't just nails. They held force that could anchor a working or lock down the protection. Every plant, every stone, every mineral was alive with use. To the outside eye, it looked like scraps. To the people, it was the arsenal. This relationship with the earth was not mystical to them. It was practical, ordinary. Natural as breathing. Cooking with certain herbs wasn't only flavor, it was a blessing. Sweeping with certain branches wasn't only cleaning, it was clearing. The earth itself was a living ally, and Hoodoo honored it as such. Hoodoo was never just about the one person. It was about keeping the whole community intact. Gosh, I wish y'all could see it. In a world where the laws and courts and systems were built to break us down, Hoodoo gave Black people tools to resist, heal, and push back. A woman could mix powders to help her neighbor in a court case. A man could pray over roots to shield a friend from danger. A mother could pass down recipes for teas that cured illness when no doctor would treat her kids. Hoodoo was woven into the fabric of daily life as a way to care for each other when no one else would. This is why Hoodoo must never be dismissed as superstition. It was the framework for survival and protection. Yeah. But it was also a system of community care. It said, you are not powerless. You're not alone. And you are not without tools, even when everything else was denied. This was still ours. When we say Hoodoo Heritage Month, We're not just honoring candles and powders or psalms. We are honoring the people who carried it in their bodies and in their breath. We honor the ancestors who risk punishment to whisper knowledge, who mixed the herbs under the moonlight, who sang psalms while pretending to sing work songs, who stitched powder into everyday acts. We honor the Bible flipped and reimagined it into a weapon of deliverance. We honor the earth, which offered herbs and roots as companions and protectors. We honor community, which found ways to fight back, care for one another, and continue. Hoodoo is the ordinary made extraordinary through intention. It is the proof that even in the most crushing circumstances, our people were never empty-handed. They always had a way, and that way still breathes through us today. I'll be right back. I got something to share with y'all.
Skin like velvet, oils got me blessed. Every drop a ritual, every move finesse. Candles lit steady, aura set high. When I walk in the room, watch the envy go. Essentials only keep it real, no stress. Glow from the roots, yeah we shine, nothing less. Drip so divine, body magic in the air. Chimeka got the vibe, self-love everywhere. Essentials only keep it real, no stress. Glow from the roots, yeah we shine, nothing less. Drip so divine, body magic in the air. Chimeka got the vibe, self-love everywhere.
Welcome back. Let's wrap this up. Let's talk about things that you can discuss, either with your family, your friends, just something to think of, something, as I like to say, something to grow on. It's called the ancestors and continuation, keeping hoodoo alive. Hoodoo is the bloodline inheritance. Ancestor reverence is not worship. It's a continuation. The ancestors are not gone. They walk with us. Honoring them doesn't trap us in the past. It equips us to face the future. Hoodoo without ancestor connection is empty work. The scripture says in Hebrew 12:1, we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. If you can, build an ancestor table. Keep it simple: a glass of water, a candle, and one item that connects you to your people. It could be a photo, a piece of fabric, soil from your yard, and each morning, greet them out loud. Each night, thank them out loud. And here are some things that you can ask. Okay? How does acknowledging your ancestors shift how you see yourself? How can Hoodoo Heritage Month push us to teach this to children so the practice isn't lost? Think on those things. Have the discussion. Ashe? All right. I want to thank you for coming through to Hoodoo Heritage Month Quick Bite number 2. I try to go faster. I try. But I'll see you here soon. Be well, stay safe. Ashe and deep bow to each and every one of you. Remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, and take care of your community. Ashe.
From the stoop to the shrine, I've been earning my light. Earned it. Didn't pray for a savior, had to learn how to fight. Burn a sage like incense, but my spirit don't fold. Still got pain in my pocket and this mic I hold. I ain't soft, I'm sacred, that's strength in disguise. Eye to eye with my demons, I ain't blinking this time. Broke every curse that was signed in my blood. Now I dance in the storm, make a waltz out the mud.
Meditating in chaos, peace in the noise. Built a temple from trauma, turn my cries into voice. Crystals in my hoodie, cards in my palm. Yeah, I tear it through the trenches and I storm through the songs. Word.
Whispers in the wind say keep going. My past ain't changed, though I'm growing. Every wound is a prayer in the sky. I bleed truth, and I rise. I mix sage with the pain, prayers with the grind. Still crying in my DNA, but I still realign every time. Roots in the dirt, spirit in the ceiling. This ain't just therapy, this the anthem. Concrete rose, yeah, I bloom through the feeling. Tapped in the truth in these healing realms, stitching my soul in the blended healing realms. Blended healing.